Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a game that has gotten me increasingly conflicted as the days have gone on, and it's strange because I was very hyped for the game when it was initially revealed and all the first info came out, but what could possibly be making me question the purchase of this game? Me, an Assassin's Creed fan. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So remember, if you do enjoy today's video, to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like, and this is a new series I'm doing. It's a bit of a more casual discussion type of video, so it's not going to be like over-the-top editing and all that. And I'm just going to be discussing upcoming games and my general thoughts on them, so if you have any ideas for games you want me to discuss, let me know down below. And so you don't miss that particular video where I talk about the game that you want me to talk about, make sure you hit that big red sexy subscribe button as well. Thank you very much. So let's talk about Valhalla. Well, there's a lot of things that I'm of course excited for, like the Assassin's Creed elements coming back, such as social stealth and one-hit hidden blade kills. That is very nice to see coming back, and after kind of an absence of that Assassin's Creed type of feel to these games, it is nice to see that ideas like that are coming back to try and bring that magic back. Another thing that has me kind of excited is the exploration. After watching some of the gameplay that people have put up, the exploration looks very interesting. Rather than telling you exactly what's on the map, it takes a more Ghost of Tsushima type of approach to exploration. Not that you have like wind guiding you or anything, but if you watched my Ghost of Tsushima review, which if you haven't, I will link it down below, and you should definitely watch it after this video because I worked really a lot on it, so please go watch it, please, thank you. Anyway, in Ghost of Tsushima, they try to just guide you to certain places, but they don't tell you exactly where you're being guided to or where exactly you are going. You just see something like a question mark pop up somewhere along your path while you're exploring, and if you choose to go there, you'll find out what it is, but the game won't tell you what is there. And that seems to be the route Valhalla is taking, in that there's 3 different colored markers on the map that you'll see, and each one will guide you to a different type of point of interest so that you can stumble upon it, but it doesn't tell you exactly what it could be. I think it's gold, white, and one other color. Each one has something that it could be, but it doesn't tell you exactly what that point of interest will be. It could be any number of a few things depending on what you want to do, and I think that kind of gives you options as to what kind of point of interest you're going to without telling you exactly what it is. So that has me very interested. And then of course you have the Darby McDevitt guy, who's pretty cool. He's writing the storyline. If you're not familiar, he is pretty popular within the Assassin's Creed community because he's written some of the best stories in the series, like Revelations, as well as Black Flag, and he also worked a little bit on Origins as well as on Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, so the guy is kind of a celebrity within the community, and he's been very active on Twitter. Definitely recommend following him to get any kind of information or updates from him. He's very good at interacting with the community. He's just a really cool guy. So that's, of course, another reason to be excited. Got this cool Assassin's Creed-esque storyline coming back. And then the Vikings. That's really cool. Vikings are cool. I like Vikings. I think a lot of people like Vikings. It's the reason I'm excited for the game. I'm intrigued by the time period. I'm intrigued by the historical figures that are coming in. I think this has potential to be a pretty good game. So why on earth would I be sitting here like I'm conflicted? I don't know if I'm going to buy the game. I've bought all the Assassin's Creed games, but I don't know if I'm going to buy this one. What on earth would be making me think that? Well, there's a few things, so let's get into those. Number 1, the game doesn't look polished. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's an older build, the game hasn't come out yet. I get that. It may well be an older build, but at this point, they should have something to present that's a bit more polished looking than what they have. Granted, a lot of the things that they need to polish up are kind of things that they can get ready by launch, and again, the game hasn't come out yet, so this is like a teeny tiny concern. It's not a huge concern, it's a teeny tiny one. Granted, things like facial animations still look really jank like they did in Odyssey. I don't know how they downgraded facial animations from Origins. I don't know how that happened. It happened. And another thing that I'm a bit concerned with, and has been an issue with the game for almost forever, is repetitiveness. Like I said, in the exploration, you have various points of interest that you can come across, and they're marked on the map as you explore. And the only reason I'm worried about repetitiveness is I don't want to come across the same fort 500 times or the same bandit camp 500 times. That got so tiring in Origins and Odyssey. It didn't offer any variation in gameplay, really. It was just show up here, another bandit camp, you find a couple of resources, and everyone's dead. Yay! Like, it just felt like it didn't offer a whole lot of variation in terms of what I could do. It's not like you had to stealth through anything. There was nothing that was like unique about a lot of the locations. It was just, we just pasted this version of the bandit camp over here. And here's another one. Here you go. Look, another fort with a different wall this time. Woo. It wasn't all that great. I'm somewhat worried about that in this game, just because it's on that same engine. It's just something that's been a plague for Assassin's Creed. Again, haven't played or seen it, so this may not be a problem at all. A lot of the things that I've seen from the gameplay demos look like they're a bit more unique in terms of exploration and how the game is trying to guide you around and tell a story depending on where you're going to make each experience unique. So again, not a huge concern, but definitely one just because of things that we've seen in the past. It could end up working out, I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, it's still something to be on the lookout for. And then, of course, there's things that just don't feel very Assassin's Creed-y. Now, their excuse for the boss fights sounds okay, but this kind of ties into the repetitiveness, and it's my concern that Eivor is an idiot. You know, if he falls for the same poison trick like 5 times, because I think there's only like 4 or 5 of those Daughters of Lyrion, if I'm pronouncing that right. I think there's only like 4 or 5 of them, but still, if you fall for that same trick 5 times, like, holy crap. Is Eivor an idiot? I don't want him to be. I hope they come up with some unique way that it happens each time. Like maybe he gets poisoned the one time, but another one he gets shot with a dart from the distance, or there's some reason like that. Or maybe one of them jumps out of a bush and cuts him with a poison blade, and that makes him or her hallucinate. Like maybe something like that'll happen. That would just kind of differentiate enough, because if he falls for the same copy and paste cutscene of, we dropped some poison into the dirt and then it blows up in his face, like that would be very disappointing nonetheless. So hopefully they come up with different variations as to how you get poisoned so that you do hallucinate. The hallucination thing, I guess it works. It's just an excuse for them to put these magical boss fights in here. I don't mind things like the Black Shuck. I think that's a really cool way to add in a mythical beast that isn't too out of the ordinary. It's not like they put Medusa in there. Like at least the Black Shuck doesn't have a piece of Eden sticking in his head and you rip it out at the end of the fight and it turns out it's a person. Like at least it's something that is grounded in reality and could be something real. Like a large black wolf. That makes sense that could exist. It's not like they set Assassin's Creed 3 in America and gave you Bigfoot with a piece of Eden in his ass. That didn't happen. I hope that never happens. It makes sense. I'm okay with stuff like that. Like, that's a pretty cool way to implement something that's on the edge of mythicalness, but not really. So I'm definitely excited for that kind of stuff. But regardless, the repetitiveness I am concerned about. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, the last thing that is really the big thing that has me conflicted the most, and those are the issues going on with Ubisoft. As much as this game may have going for it, it already has seen its fair share of Ubisoft-related issues. Most of all, it comes down to people like Ashraf Ismail not only leaving the game initially, but ended up getting fired after an investigation in Ubisoft for some of the actions he took, and it's some pretty terrible stuff. I'll leave it to you guys to do your own research on it. I've already talked about it in videos where I have everything linked down below, and I definitely recommend, if you're not aware, do some research on it. It's not just Ashraf. There's tons of things going on within Ubisoft that are pretty terrible, and that's really where my big concern lies, is the way that this company not only treats employees, but how some of these employees were treating fans of their games. And it makes me question whether or not this game is worth my dollar. And I love the series. I love the hardworking devs that are putting all their care and energy into this game to make it as good as it can be. And I definitely want to support those developers because they worked hard and those people earned our hard-earned dollar, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't played the game yet. It could be just atrocious, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I think it could be pretty good, and I think those devs do earn our support. But because of the things that are going on elsewhere in the company and just the overall state of Ubisoft at this particular moment, I find it hard to justify giving them my hard-earned dollar. Yes, they've punished and gotten rid of a lot of the people that have caused those things, but as they say, when you see one cockroach, there's 100 more you don't see. So is it really gone? Are the problems really gone? I don't know, and I feel like it's something that can only be solved with time. And even though I cover a lot of Assassin's Creed on the channel, I don't know if I want to buy this game. I don't know if I want to support the company with my hard-earned dollar. And sure, this is a bit of a heavy subject for kind of a casual YouTube video that I'm making, but that's what has me conflicted the most. Sure, the game looks good in certain areas. Sure, I have my concerns in other areas, but as far as Ubisoft and everything that they've done internally and a little bit externally, do they deserve our dollar? And that goes really for any of their releases this year. I'm excited by Far Cry 6. I'm excited for a lot of their other games. And I think they're trying to get back into differentiating their various games and series into their unique identities again. But at the end of the day, they need to get their act together, because people are going to find it hard to support a company that basically mistreats their employees. Now again, I don't work at Ubisoft. I'm not in there. I'm just going off the reports that are being given by people who do work there. I'm going off of things that witnesses have said. I'm going off of, a lot of the higher ups and execs getting fired, and things like AC Sisterhood becoming pretty popular on Twitter, which if you don't follow them, I recommend checking out AC Sisterhood. It's just people who support the fact that a lot of female Assassin's Creed protagonists have had their roles dropped for the sake of creative decisions made by said higher ups that are now fired because they had this particular vision of their games that they thought women didn't sell for whatever reason. I don't know. I think games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Tomb Raider really kind of kick that theory in the balls, but whatever. Either way, I'm conflicted on this, and I may make another video about this exact subject later on, but that's how I stand on Valhalla right now. Let me know your thoughts down below as to what you think Valhalla has going for it, and if you're excited for it, or what concerns do you have? Do you share the same concerns as I do? And what do you think about Ubisoft? I know it's kind of a heavy subject, but yeah, I think Valhalla has potential to be a very, very good game. It just suffers from a lot of external issues. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, remember to leave it a nice, thick and juicy like, and I will see you guys in the next video.